What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Before I begin, I want to say thank you so much to my viewers, subscribers, supporters, friends, family, neighbors, eBay customers, one and all. You are all amazing human beings. Thank you for your continued support, and thank you for the surge in subscribers. I don't know if it's YouTube's algorithm or whatever it is, but, I went from like 212 subs all the way down to 1,208 subs. Now I'm all the way back up again to 1,216 subs. So thank you, I guess. I don't know. YouTube is going through all sorts of wacky stuff. I'm watching content creators complaining about YouTube and all this weird stuff. I mean, so far on my end, I think it's just, YouTube's weird AI or whatever it is, or algorithm that's playing games with my numbers. But currently, at the time of this video, I got 1,216 subs, so that's a nice boost from 1,208. So thank you, everybody. Anyway, if you like what you see and you enjoy the content, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel to grow. Smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, and of course, hit the bell to receive notifications. I do have an eBay store called the Carolina Collector 001, where I'm selling loose sports cards and various other items from time to time. Thank you so much to everybody that has done so already. Some of my listings I have relisted as auctions. They're currently going on right now. I have well over 500 items for sale. My most recent listing, or what could potentially be another big listing, is a vintage Adidas New York Yankees mock turtleneck jersey in the size 2XL, so that's up for auction right now. I got multiple messages within minutes if I'm willing to take, an offer on that shirt. That's because they're going for anywhere between $200 to $500. That's insane for a turtleneck, honestly. But I do have multiple turtlenecks from the New York Yankees. I got to start reducing my jersey collection. I got way too many jerseys. So if you're eBay customers of mine, I might be listing some of my jerseys from my personal collection. I just have too many and I'm running out of room for storage. So I might list them for sale. But anyway, I'm rambling on. Forgive me for that. My typical throat clear as the weather is bonkers. It's been going from 80 degrees to 50 degrees to 75 degrees to 52 degrees. So expect the flu to be going around. But anyway, we're back to Transformers Studio Series Devastation Optimus Prime. For what, a third time on this channel? Oh my god. I want to give a big shout out to TF Safari. I told him I would give him a shout out. I'm giving him a shout out because, as usual, all of you know this, the post office leaves a lot to be desired. I ordered a third upgrade kit. Yes, I said that. A third upgrade kit to upgrade his arms and other things. And the original kit that I ordered weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks ago got lost. I contacted TF Safari. They used a different shipper this time, or a different mail carrier. This showed up yesterday. Thank you to TF Safari for providing a replacement. I really, really appreciate that on behalf of my viewers and subs. And thank you, TF Safari. This is the Go Better Studios upgrade kit for Studio Series Devastation Optimus Prime. And this is now the third kit I've ordered for this guy. Oh my goodness, I must be really, really psychotic to be doing this. But here it is. Comes in these nice little baggies right here. You got the QR codes right there, all that sort of thing, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I'm going to be able to use much of this since I've already upgraded mine. You can see inside the calves there, or inside the thighs, I should say, excuse me. There are gap fillers that I've added to this guy already. There's all sorts of stuff I've done to him. But I was more interested in some of these upgrades when it came to his fuel tanks. And apparently he's got new arms. Oh, he's got a new blaster in here too. Oh, this is a really thorough upgrade kit. Okay, so we have a upgrade kit here that contains the fuel tanks. I'm gonna, excuse me, I just had lunch. All right, so what do we got here? So I'm going to move this back. All right, we got this yellow piece here. I'm going to have to figure out what's what. And we have two new fuel tanks, which are on a swivel, as Jobby would say. We have all of these panels here and gap fillers and what have you. We have... Ooh, look at that blaster. Look at this blaster compared to the one I already have. And this is an upgraded blaster. I like this one a lot more. This one's just a teensy more biggerer. So, okay, I like this one a lot better. And you can actually add a blast effect to it, which is cool. I like that. Okay, so we did the first upgrade, which was easy. And that's swapping out the big gun for an even biggerer gun. And then we have what looks like gap fillers and replacement arms. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit here for a little bit and ponder and stew as to how these work. I mean, they look pretty obvious. I mean, I guess you just kind of have to break them in a little bit. And let me swap out the arms and fill in what I have to fill in and replace what I have to replace, and then we'll take a look at our Prime, and then we'll transform him and all that good stuff. So hold tight. Okay, so I've already started the process of replacing the arms and installing gap fillers. So we got these two nice gap fillers right here behind his shoulders, and you have this gap filler right here that I just installed. Very easy process. You have to pop the arms off to slide these guys into place, and it fills it in real nice. I mean, there is a little bit of a color mismatch, but it's not that bad. However, now that I've got the new forearms on, there's one little problem that seems to be occurring, and that's this. I don't know why that's happening. There's obviously paint coming off of here, so I don't think that this is matched properly. I think you probably are going to have to wear out that mushroom joint so that this way it stays the way it's supposed to and not pop out like that. I may have to do some sanding. I don't know for right now. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to play games with it, but as soon as you move it, the forearm pops out, and you can see already paint is starting to come off of it. So I don't like that already. That's not really a good sign. I guess you kind of have to work this a little bit until that plastic softens a little, or you sand it, or if you can live with this. I don't like that at all. I've been trying to figure out what would be causing that, and the only thing I can think of is that maybe the mushroom peg on the new arm is maybe too thick, or maybe it's not thick enough, or maybe there's a burr on there, or what. I have no idea, but you can see them side by side, and for the life of me, I don't know why it's doing that. So it could be maybe the mushroom head on here is too tiny. I mean, I might have to put some Teflon on there, or maybe some crazy glue to thicken it up. I don't know why it would be doing it, but it looks a lot better with the forearms like this. It's just a real shame that that keeps popping out. And these are supposed to be, I believe, if I got this transformation correct, and I really don't want to start forcing things because that's how this will break. I believe that this is the steps for the truck mode. That's what it looks like to me. I'm going to have to refer to the instructions to see how this works. I don't want to break it. I'm trying not to break it. So I'll look into that in a little bit. You can see the arm wants to pop out right away. I can see that that's going to be a little annoying. So, but let me progress with these upgrades and see how far I can take it. And we'll be right back. Now, this I really like. If this was a nice addition to this upgrade kit. So with the second upgrade kit, I modified this where I drilled completely through the original panel that was on the toy and had this upgrade kit for his fuel tank, which turned into like a pseudo hammer or something like that, or some sort of flailing weapon. But I like what Go Better did here, where they actually took his fuel tanks and put them on these little swivels here. Now you got to be really careful because this is so thin it can actually snap and break, so you really want to be careful with this. Now I'm not sure if I got these on right. I'm actually going to take these and switch them around and see, because I'm going to assume that this back part is supposed to face the rear. And again, you don't want to break this. I mean, this is so fragile, and I got those big fat fingers that have a tendency of breaking things prematurely, so I'm gonna guess that this is the direction they're supposed to go in. I would think. I'm gonna have to refer to the instructions on this one again. I mean, I'm just kind of guessing for now, you know, having a little fun making this video. But this is a nice feature because it cleans this up real nice. You can take this, when you change him into his truck mode, it flips upward that way. So it's got that nice little swivel on there. So that's kind of neat. I like that. But you got to watch, because this is so tiny and so fragile that can snap. So I strongly exercise caution when swapping this out. And we press on. Let's see what else we can do with this guy. Now this is a nice, neat little touch, but again, I exercised caution, and I warn you, be careful when you're switching out these parts, because you can actually chip the paint. But I like this, where there's a little hinge where you would replace the original trailer hitch, which is this right here, and it would make like this big ugly cup. And when you replace them, look at what the trailer hitch would look like now when it's transformed. I like that. That's a nice feature, so there's no parts forming. But again, you really got to be careful here, because this is so fragile and so tiny that, you know, if you're a big guy with big fingers like me, you got to be real careful with this, because you can snap this, you know, real easy. So again, I really exercise caution. And you probably are going to get some paint chipping, because, you know, I tried this a couple times. This is kind of unavoidable. You may have to paint this with acrylic paint. But I tell you what, if you were to transform him into his truck mode, now that's a proper trailer hitch. I really like that. That looks good. I got to admit, that's really not bad at all. So I think in his transformation, his feet and his legs would look something like that, even though I'm just kind of, you know, Rube Goldberging it for now. That looks a lot better. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. So, all right, that's a nice, neat little touch. But again, exercise caution. You don't want to break anything on this guy. So let's see what else we can swap out. So with a little time and patience and grit and some plastic dust or shavings, I literally had to drill out, and I'm not kidding. I mean, I literally had to take a drill and drill out the previous upgrade kit, which you see are these inserts that you would insert in between his thighs, so that this way I can replace those inserts with these panels that came with this new upgrade kit, and it should go in nicely. I mean, unfortunately, there's going to be a stress mark, but that's only because I had to literally pry those inserts out. But you know what? For what it is and what it could be, this looks a lot nicer. I mean, he's going to be standing like this anyway, so you're not going to really see that stress mark. And look at that compared to that kit right there. That looks so much better. These two I'm obviously keeping in. But this thigh panel on the inside of his legs looks so much better. But again, like I said, there's a little stress mark right there, but you're really not going to see that. But this panel is just so much nicer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to remove these guys and get the secondary panel in and then glue this in place so I never have to worry about it again. And we press on. What a difference. Well, there we have it as far as the inner thighs are concerned, and that looks way better. I mean, the old These old inserts, I mean, they are what they are. They are going to be what they are going to be, but I like these a lot better. This one here, unfortunately, has a bit of a stress fracture on it, but that's okay. You're really not going to see it. But compared to what it was, I can live with that. That doesn't look too bad at all. You know, sometimes 3D printing can go a little haywire, but I could definitely live with that. And it's going to be glued down anyway, so, you know, it's not like it's going to go anywhere. I'm not really going to concern myself with that, but it looks so much better. Even if it's cracked like that, that doesn't really matter. So just for anybody out there, be careful when you're doing this because, you know, some of these parts are very flimsy and very thin and very fragile, so exercise caution when doing this. But so far, I mean, just these little improvements here and there is really making a difference. So I'm getting blood on my Optimus Prime here. You know what happened is when I was trying to drill out the old thigh pieces here, I slipped and got a little nick there on my index finger, but I am bleeding for my audience. I am sacrificing myself for all of you. Oh my God. Oh boy, oh boy. All right, let's see what else we can do with this Prime. I mean, but it's looking much, much better. That back really looks nice and clean now, so we press on. Well, as you know how the old saying goes, and forgive me, I'm a little frustrated because this kit was a real pain in the rear to not only add to this guy, but trying to get the old kit to come free, or some of the gap fillers that I already had on this guy. I had to pry out and drill out a lot of stuff. But to get some of the new stuff to work on this guy was a pain in the butt. But I finally managed to do it. Obviously, you know, I already talked about the shoulder gap fillers. Those look nice. This is filled in real nice. The new gap fillers inside his thighs work out well, except for this right here, which it's stretched a little bit. That's fine. You're really not going to notice that, you know. I love this, the new trailer hitch, but you got to be careful with that because it's very fragile. I love the fact that these new tanks can rotate in his truck mode, in his vehicle mode. We'll see what that's like in a little bit. I had to literally drill out the old gap fillers between his legs here, in back of his calf here, and at his heel here, and replace them with these. I actually have an example of that right here, where I literally had to drill a teeny weeny little hole just to get these to come out. Fortunately, I didn't glue these in, so, you know, I guess 5 points for me. But, I mean, it does look better. The color matching is good. This has a little bit of paint chipping on it. Unfortunately, I had to trim it down. I can paint that in if I wanted to, but when he's in his truck mode, you're not going to see it because his legs literally lock up like this. So you're not going to see that. But I want to get him transformed into his truck mode, and I want to see what these arms do, because these arms, despite my best efforts to kind of loosen them up a little bit, they're still kind of popping out of their mushroom pegs here. And I think they're either too big or too small. I don't know. So you have to put some positive resistance on them, because if you don't, they're just going to slide out. I have no explanation for that, why they do that. I might have to cut a piece of red plastic and glue it in there so it stays in. That may be an option for the future, but I'm going to transform him into his truck mode just to see what this looks like now. And I'll give you my final thoughts of whether or not this was worth it. Now, if you're going to order this kit, be extremely careful with this transformation, because it took me a little while to figure out, and then I looked at the photos. With the new arm, you have to do this in a very specific order. This panel right here slides back. It doesn't fold up or anything, because when you look at it, it suggests that this part come up. That's supposed to be the step ladder, in quotes, to climb up into the cab. So, whoops, I got parts flying all over the place. This thing already has me a nervous wreck, you know, because it's a very frustrating upgrade kit to have because of all these small little parts. I mean, I appreciate what Go Better Studios did here, but you got to be very careful with this. This is definitely not meant for a child. So you have to take the bottom of his forearm, slide this panel back, then grab the fake steps on his forearm, fold them up like so, then fold in his fist. Then you can fold this whole thing in. Now again, keep in mind, I mentioned that, that this thing could be just a little stubborn because in a mushroom peg, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's oversized or undersized. I still haven't figured it out yet, but it does collapse into itself. But again, it's very fickle and very finicky. So take your time with this. And then you fold the fuel tank out like so. And then it kind of locks itself in place like that, and you don't have to struggle. I mean, compared to what it looked like before, it looks so much better. But just keep these little things in mind, because this is a very frustrating upgrade kit. Now, mind you, it does clean up a lot better than the previous upgrade kits that I had on this guy, but it's just these little parts and these little things that you really have to take into consideration. And I can see there being some paint chipping and all sorts of stuff going on here. But, I mean, it does look, if I can pan the camera down here without it falling on me like it usually does. I mean, he does fold up into himself. You know, you give him one good push down and, you know, he rolls on his own recognizance, which is awesome. But, again, you know, this robot is just, my God, man, it's a problem child. And, I mean, it does clean up quite a bit. I love this, though. This is nice. The trailer hitch. That looks so much better than the old one. And it does clean up a lot better, even though he has, you know, a wrench for feet that you can tighten up nuts and bolts with. It looks like a pair of channel locks or a crescent wrench or something like that. But it does clean up nice. I like this feature that you can spin this around, but again, exercise caution. These parts are really, really fragile and very finicky and very fickle. So just be careful. So I'm going to get him transformed again into his robot mode. Oh, and I forgot about this. This is something easy. Basically, you just stick this in there. If I remember correctly from the photos. And then Prime can grab a hold of it like that. You probably want to glue this down or something. You do whatever you want. But basically, you have to put this to his fist. Then you stick this peg in there. And that's that. I'm not going to use that because I'm not into the Optimus axe thing. So let's get him transformed into his robot mode. I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so I got him back into his robot mode. And what are my thoughts on this? I guess this is a case of beauty is in the hands of the beholder. So is it worth going the distance to get this kit? I think by now many of you have had this Prime in your hands for some time now. Is it really worth going out of your way to get this upgrade kit? I mean, looking at it for what it is, I would say absolutely, but it's not a necessity to get it. I mean, it does have its problems. Like I said, when I tried to install this, it's stretched and cracked a little bit, but it's glued in place, so it's not going anywhere. I like the fact that we have a true trailer hitch with this guy, even though his feet still look like the head of a crescent wrench. When you transform him into his truck mode, at least these gap fillers work a lot better than the previous kit that I had on here, and I had to drill those out. The trailer hitch looks really nice. I like that. That's a nice feature. Having these tanks spin around like that, I think is a nice feature, but again, exercise caution because they are very fragile, and you could potentially break these, so exercise caution with those. And again, on my copy, when you replace the arms, I don't know why they keep popping out of the mushroom pegs, but maybe yours won't be like that. I've got to try to sit down and brainstorm why that's happening. The gap fillers really work on this guy. I mean, it's too much too late. You know what I mean? I wish Hasbro would take the time to do these transformers and do these bots correctly, because, you know, you're paying all kinds of money for these upgrade kits on top of the original cost for these action figures. So I'm in this for 3 kits already, and it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? I did this for the sake of the channel. I mean, you know, this Optimus has grown on me. He is a cool Prime, but he does have his issues. We all know what those issues are. I'm not poo-pooing on it. It's a nice Prime in and of itself, but I mean, he's got tire butt cheeks, you know, had all these gaps and all these holes and weird, you know, weird molding and all that kind of stuff. And just some weird decision making went into this guy. But now with this particular kit, this 3rd upgrade kit now that I've got for this Prime, again, it's all on you what you want to do. Be very careful with this kit. There may be some paint chipping, so if you have some acrylic paint or model paint, you may want to keep it on standby. If you're going to have them up on the shelf just doing a dynamic pose and you're not going to mess around with them, then you really have nothing to worry about. But again, for whatever reason, mine keeps doing this. I wish I had an answer for that. I really don't. It's possible they're either just too big or they don't lock in like they're supposed to. And I've tried off camera to push these in and they just will not stay. Once I start moving them, out it comes again. So I may have to consider gluing in a piece of plastic here. We'll see what happens. But again, this is a case of beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's up to you what you want to do with your upgrade kit or your Prime. Any one of these upgrade kits is viable. Though this one does take it to the next level, to be honest with you, because it does hide the inside gaps of his arms and really, really cleans up his inner thighs. I like this. And again, this is only because of my heavy-handed mauling that this happened, because I got stabbed with the drill bit right there. You know, so... But again, it's up to you, folks. It's your money, your collectible, your toy. You do what you want with your stuff. For me, I do like it, but you shouldn't have to go this far for a toy or a collectible like this. I mean, these arms are just fine, but the gap fillers that came with these left a lot to be desired as well. So again, it's all on you, folks. Whatever you like, whatever you want to do, that's all up to you. That's fine by me. Each to your own. And with that being said, everybody, I think that's about it for this guy. I'm going to finally retire this guy and put him up on my shelf. And hopefully there'll be no more upgrade kits. And again, he's got like a little scratch right there. That's probably from me manhandling him. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for checking out this video. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications, and check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. That was just a piece of blue plastic. Check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description box of every video and short that I upload here on YouTube. Thank you so much, everybody. This was a pretty fun but interesting yet annoying video installing a very frustrating upgrade kit that at the end of the day, it does look good, but I mean, it's a little excessive at this point. So anyway, take care, everybody, and I will see you all very soon.